Do cigarettes burns really hurt that much that they could be used as effective torture for soldiers?
Not for soldiers, I'd imagine.
I feel like they'd probably be a little more... Oh, that'll do it.
What are you going to do now, Japanese?
A little bit more effective for torture than... Uh-oh. That was... Oh. Who's you?
That's what happens when you decide to tick off a machine gunner.
Okay, are these the actual SAS, or are we just giving them British accents for no reason? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Split screen.
Well, what type of gun
Who
do we
would
have?
have guessed? This looks like some kind of a Luger.
I would imagine that this is...
Or is it a well rod?
No, it's not a well rod. We know the well rod.
It's pelpy. It's pipey. Pelpy? Get out of my way, player 2.
I'm not in your way, you numbskull. We're going that way.
You were in my way. I don't know the controls because seems like every war game has a separate set of controls. Arisaka. By that I mean... Ooh, there you go. Reload, there's a thing. Okay. This is a tremendously informative introduction. What are we playing?
So if you don't know, if you can't already tell...
Well, I'm not sure people would be able to tell this specifically.
Maybe so. It's,
I mean, you could probably tell... You'd probably be able to guess the franchise, let's say. But I don't think you'd be able to guess the exact game.
And this one, I believe, is...
It's called World at War. I have no clue where that stacks up in the lineup of the whole...
Or when, but it's a decent game.
It's clearly before the Modern Warfares, but I don't know how much before. It seems like it was probably... This looks like it was better graphics than 2, because we just attempted 2 and realized they don't have co-op multiplayer. I mean, they do, but not co-op. They have multiplayer, but it's the versus kind. It's not the missions. So we had to abandon that, and that's why we're playing this. And I think this is clearly later, given the significantly improved graphics. The question is, oh, you saved Private Ryan. Who was Private Ryan? Whoa. How do I crouch?
Oh, well...
I just threw a grenade at someone. Sorry, guys.
It wasn't.
Okay.
I just ended up taking
since
that man
when
out
is
by
B crouch?
shooting him in the
I might
butt.
have to... I'm gonna... Hang on. This is atrocious. What do you normally...
I'm a southpaw normally.
Are you sure about that?
Or no, where's the green thumb?
I don't think there is one. I don't care about the sticks. What I need is button layout. I need to make sure... I hate when B is crouch. I always prefer when the shoulder button...
Yeah, the upper right? That's what I use for crouch. Generally.
Yes, but that doesn't seem to be an option for me, because I like when B... Whatever makes B the melee attack. There's...
Oh, right there.
Tactical and no. Nom-Ford. Nom-Fordy. I know what they're trying to do, but I'm not going to say it the way they want me to. Because the reason that's great is that you can walk up to a guy holding down the trigger button and then press B without having to take your finger off the trigger button to press the shoulder button. Because if your melee attack is the shoulder button, you can't fire and melee attack at the same time. Yeah. Because you want to walk right up to the guy unloading a clip and then pop him right at the end.
See, whereas I actually prefer to have my melee on.
The real question is, what's the difference between these? Throw primary grenade.
I don't melee
aim
is
down
on the bump
sight.
on lefty. Which
I
is
like.
What I have.
Okay, I'm taking tactical then. I like this. All right, we're better. All right, I'm doing good. Oh, you're hurt. You didn't mention that.
Well.
Oh, okay. I do like that when crouch is.
Get to me.
When crouch is the shoulder or the pressing down the thumbstick. That's a decent alternative.
Oh no! See, that's my melee right now.
All right, so I'm all right with these.
Oh, sorry. Forgive.
What have you done?
I goofed that.
Okay, are you a friend? Corporal Lozano. Anyways, I have no clue where this stacks up in the Call of Duties, but we wanted to play something random.
And familiar. I mean...
Yeah, somewhat familiar, because I think we might be somewhat shifting our methodology for picking games going forward. I'm walking onto a grenade, because I think we have... I'm getting shot. You're not very kind. You guys wouldn't know this because we... Ooh, I want the Grand. Of course I want the Grand. Always take the Grand. And the Tommy. I found Tommies and Grands for you. In this hut in the corner. This is how a true American fights whoever we're fighting. And walking into grenades is also how that happens. Now
that
I need
was
help.
I couldn't help you.
You didn't tell me. I would have been more careful.
Well, the grenade for me ended up taking me out. So.
But the reason... No, don't give me this stupid... Oh, I lost my Tommy. The reason is... I forget. I forgot what the reason was. The reason is you. Isn't that what Hoobastank used to say? Nothing from you for that reference?
Okay, I'm trying to get into a better tactical position.
I has died.
The reason is failure.
Is you.
I'm not a perfect soldier.
There you go. You got there in the end.
Of course I did. I knew what you were referencing. I never.
Well, you didn't give me any backup. I
referenced.
felt silly. Felt like
I just took a man out with a pistol because my other weapon was...
I'm blowing these fellas to... What?
Very poor choice of words.
Okay, that was the longest grenade
Oh,
in existence.
okay, I hit the private in the back of the head. I feel bad.
Well, at least you didn't hit him in the privates.
Okay. These grenades are starting to tick me off. I need some help.
Oh, that's you. Okay. Well, they're probably going to shoot me. Grenades I'm standing on. Okay, well that... As far as an indicator goes, that was not terribly indicative. It was like, yeah, there's a grenade somewhere around. You'll probably be fine. What are we doing? Why are we playing this? We are playing this. Oh, yes, that's what we're talking about. We're potentially shifting things up. Because pickles.
Because pickles.
Because the last couple times we tried to record stuff,
okay.
I feel like what the problem was, we had a bunch of topics we wanted to get to, but we were also playing a bunch of like new games, and they don't go well together because we're trying to learn how to play something new while also trying to talk, and we felt like we didn't get to actually discuss much or experience the game.
Yeah.
You gotta let me know when you're getting hurt, because otherwise I'm not gonna. There's your grenade. I'm not gonna fall for it.
Well, I figured.
How much longer do you have?
Better off.
There you go.
Don't know.
Is there a time limit, or is it just
I don't
like...
know that there's a time limit. I think on this one it's just more of like a...
Oh, that would be... Okay, wow, that guy has eagle vision. But yes, the reason is we want to be able to have topics when topics are necessary. Or not necessary, because they're never necessary, but we wanted to have topics when we have topics to share that we feel like are valid. But we still, are going to be playing indies and little unheard of things every now and then. But
so
I think we're probably going to be more deliberate.
Yeah, well,
we're going to play them, and we're probably going to only talk about them. It's going to be slightly more like I don't want to use the word critical, because neither of us are
appreciative of the fact that we've already played the game, and we appreciate.
Neither of us are qualified enough to truly be critiquing games.
And I think that's the thing. We fell into the trap of going, well, we're just going to try things out on screen, and it doesn't really work in that.
Think we had success with that one video, the
again,
Europa video. Oh, you got a Sten. Stens are good. Why am I walking funny?
I also got a knife.
Can you look at me for a second?
Oh, I just shot the sergeant.
Turn around and look at me. Am I hobbling weirdly? I feel like I'm moving really slow. But I'm not crouching. This is me standing upright.
Yeah, no, we're
so why am I so slow?
We're just cruising along.
Cruising is not the word. We are toddling along.
Cruising right along.
Okay.
Extending our hands. Help to shoot some... Okay.
Well, yeah, you can't... That's the one person you can't corrupt, is Kermit the Frog. Can't go making Kermit a racist.
Okay.
What were you gonna say? Shooting some what?
People, individuals.
People of other nationalities. Any nationality, really. I'll shoot whoever. I am getting shot by whoever. So yeah, we're gonna do indie stuff as well, but probably it's gonna be more like this is all we're playing and all we're talking about, and
was a little silly.
And there won't be a whole lot of the topic discussions we're gonna probably have for things like this that we're familiar with, so that we can play. I'm getting shot by somebody. Don't know who.
I goofed the.
I'm coming, pal. I'm coming, traveling buddy. Murdering buddy!
I'm coming!
Okay, I think there's a guy up in that tower. That would certainly make sense, wouldn't it? But anyways, we have played, not this game actually, so when we say from something more familiar, we're talking about more of the style than anything else, because we've not played this, but we had some jolly good memories with, of all things, I'm pretty confident that it was...
one of the few games on the Wii that we actually enjoyed.
I think it was Call of Duty 3 on the Wii, which did the somewhat gimmicky thing of making the Wii remote, you have to like aim it at the screen to aim the gun, which was it took some getting used to, but I still think we had some fun with it.
Well, but it was one of the earlier games that we'd played of Call of Duty, so I think.
Well, and it was really one of the earlier games we had played just in general, as in terms of playing together, co-op and whatnot. Although we didn't play co-op on that, we had to take turns.
Is that a fact? I don't remember.
I seem to recall that having to be a turn-based thing because I don't believe that one has co-op. Which is that's a topic to discuss, is the sad lack of co-op multiplayer a lot of these days, rather. Can't speak terribly well. Because, we've already talked about how in the modern day, the local multiplayer scene is pretty much non-existent. Unlike back in the day when you got a couple guys around to the house and played games like this or, I don't know, whatever else. But I don't know, was it just that, it became... The only time people ever did that was at parties where it was like, yeah, we're going to play some competitive matches. Because the problem is, there's not a whole lot of co-op. It seems to all be competitive these days. Like, even on the other game we were talking about, we only had the option of, I'm hurt. We only had the option of either playing against each other. Well, that was the only option. Whereas this, we had to play this in order to be able to do the co-op. Because so few things do it. And that's a sad thing, and you're not adding any commentary.
Sorry.
I said...
Okay.
You said we could play this because we'd be able to discuss. Apparently I was wrong.
I think...
Player 2 has died. You has died.
This really is kind of going to lead us into potentially another topic, but really it's the slow progression of companies taking...
you're going to get into that, apparently.
Away from the consumer. And I think that is part of the issue with the whole co-op thing, is that you go, well, we don't want people to play local. Well, it's like, okay, but I don't care what you want. Just let me do what I want to do.
I care what I want. Well, I don't... But see, that's where I go, I'm not even sure, was it malicious? I don't think it was, because it certainly doesn't make sense that they would have done that from a consumer standpoint.
That's where I go.
Was it just because maybe were we in the minority?
Like, yeah, I was about to say.
Because maybe it was back in the day where it was like, you and a friend had to regularly come around to each other's houses to play a co-op, because that would take multiple sessions and all that. Maybe people didn't do that as much as we did. Maybe most people were like, yeah, we just get together, we play, have competitive Halo together when we get around, but that's it. Maybe most people just aren't as good friends as we are.
We don't play. Well, we're either really good friends or we're not good friends at all, and that we don't want to play competitively. No, I'm joking.
Why would that? Well, because the best alternative is to play co-op with team hit enabled.
Yes.
Because that leads to the occasional, I could tell that grenade was...
Or,
occasionally one person accidentally shoots someone in the back of the head, so then that person shoots them back on purpose.
Or it's the classic...
And then it's, you kill each other a couple times, and then you get out of your system and you continue.
Well, and that's the classic, kill count thing of, even... what is it called? Legolas and...
and then you can teabag your friend's corpse whenever he dies.
You
can tell these enemy combatants.
These aggressive.
Wow, we put it on regular because we figured we don't need the challenge when we're trying to discuss. But apparently, the challenge is finding us anyways. I don't recall getting that far through this game.
The bottom line, if I recall, I think you're thinking of European Assault, which is in fact
that the Xbox
Medal
one
of
that's
Honor.
Incredibly hard?
It's Medal of Honor, and we both have said Medal of Honor is great in that it makes things far more accurate to real life.
But is that? I don't know how true that really is.
Well, all I know is that there's less. I'm gonna hide behind this rock for 2 seconds, and all of a sudden.
You're right about that because I believe that Medal of Honor, the ones we played at least, were still in the age when there was health kits and things, which aren't that realistic by comparison. But
well, that's probably true.
It's certainly more realistic than if soldiers getting healed in combat was as easy as just sit down for a second. I'm pretty sure war would be drastically different. Oh, flashy, bomby, grenadey. This seems a little bit heartless. We're just going to come up on a bunch of sleeping fellas and just saw them in half while they're asleep. I guess all is fair, they say. But anyways, yeah.
That was a 220...
Co-op multiplayer is a dying breed, evidently.
Well, and I think
maybe
it's sad.
we are too.
Well, yeah. That's the larger...
That was awfully... well...
That's the resolve that I've admitted that I'm obsolete now. No, it was back when LAN was a thing, really. Okay, poor guy.
Well, not even though, because yes, if you wanted to have like a whole bunch of players, but you could get up to 4 people on one of these back in the day. Not co-op, probably.
Well, yeah, but
I mean, even still, you could do that if you're having a Halo tournament. 4 people still enough to have fun. I mean, 8, if you could get 2 Xboxes together, you could have a real good time. Those were some of my earliest gaming.
Good time.
Yeah, those were some of my earliest gaming memories. Were the 8 people. You get 2 guys who had an Xbox together and set them up. Nades and me nads, nades. Ooh, I'm gonna nade your nads. I don't think I naded his nads right. Oh boy. We're not doing this to showcase any skill, of course, because there isn't much on offer.
Yeah, there's not much.
This is mostly because, yeah, we don't have much else. There's not as many indies this week. We had some topics, although I don't know that we'll get into the specific ones we were talking about because they might be too heady even still for this. But, I don't know. Something, a little bit of a blast from the past is really all it is.
Yeah. Well, and it should be familiar in, maybe nostalgic.
Something tells me I could light these and maybe... Oh, the glowing contextual prompt says yay. Do I push the truck? Do I get in the truck? Ahaha. Well, that seems like that would have just damaged the knife. You could have just popped off that tab. I suppose that works. That soldier's walking through fire. That's a bad decision. I see you're engaging your natural stay away from the fray attitude.
Okay.
Well, look what good it did you. Where on earth? Oh, you were... Okay, there you are.
Not that far behind you.
Well, I guess they're suggesting with my animation that I'm giving you some kind of a needle. It's probably heroin.
What?
Whenever I do the little reviving animation,
it's morphine.
Nah, it's heroin.
Oh, come on.
And you know, World War One, soldiers were hopped up on heroin.
Shot.
Did you hear? You've heard the story of the famous
heroin addict?
No, it was like the famous Finnish soldier. It was some story. I think it was like Finnish or he was Scandinavian of some variety. But he got separated from his group. They were up in the... Because most people don't know that was one of the fronts of the war, was the Scandinavian push. Because they tried to get up, obviously once the Germans got Poland, they tried to push up into Denmark and stuff. And there's a story about some Finnish soldier got separated from his group, and he happened to be the medic who had all of the drugs. And so he basically just got super hopped up on morphine tablets and totally wrecked an entire squad, or not more than a squad, an entire... Oh boy.
Oh, that's never happened.
That hasn't ever happened. I don't think it's going to correct itself either.
Oh, this one's a permanent one.
This one's live.
Okay,
well, I suppose some things in gaming have come along, but not this. Okay. How very strange. I feel like I've lived this moment before.
We talking about a cigarette?
I feel like I've got some precognizance of the way things are going to happen. This dude's going to get ganked, and we're going to fight some more Japanese people, and there's going to be some Thompsons. It's going to be a good time.
Is that what happened? It's all deja vu a little bit.
Yeah, I had it. It was a dream, is what it was.
It was a fever dream.
There's a problem there. I suppose we can't be rose-tinted glasses the whole way. There's certainly problems with older games, and we just encountered one of them, so hopefully that doesn't happen again. But we're starting fresh.
Taint your view, really, of the part of that. There was a degree of
why can't I move? Can't go forward.
I don't know that I would.
How did you get the stens so early? Where's the stens lying around? I have to pick up a Arisaka. Arisaka? I don't know what that means. You just get all the good guns. Where are you getting these from? Take a grenade. Oof. Oh, yeah. Okay. Playing a little more hard and loose. Fast and loose. I don't want to be hard and loose at the same time.
Well...
I don't know what you're doing.
I don't.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, boy. I'm just charging right ahead. I got no concern.
Okay.
Apparently you don't either.
I just shot that guy in the foot, even though he died via foot wound.
Via foot. Whoa, we got a Tommy. You've got the Tommy. I want the Tommy. Alrighty. Were we in the middle of something when that happened, or were we just...
Well, we were talking about co-op, and I think...
Are you an enemy?
Why is it that that's a dying...
I don't know.
I mean,
maybe it was never that. Maybe it was just us. Maybe it's the age that's passed. Perhaps it's the cynicism of our age.
People don't want to get along anymore, right?
People don't actually have friends in person. Eat my bullets!
I bet you do.
No, No, don't act like you got those
I dropped
kills.
like 3 guys!
I did too. We each got our own. I shot our friend. What?
So you were just over here shooting comrades.
Well, he can't have been that much of a comrade. If I was able to shoot him.
Okay, what was that I
don't
just witnessed?
I just shot a guy with a pistol from a
there we
very
go.
long range.
Yep, that's what I want. I want the Tommy.
Where'd you get your Tommy?
It was in here.
You got a guy named Tommy? I got a bayonet. Alrighty. I could use a scope's what I could use, because these guys are puny. Oh, I see you. Anyways. Yeah. Bit of a... Mostly just for us, really. Who cares what you guys want to see? We just want to chill for a sec.
And I think, again, I was talking about the larger commentary of control and the fact that companies are less and less allowing consumers to actually inform the decisions. And maybe that's unfair to say because obviously they still have to make money, but I don't know. It just feels a little bit like they're doing less of the, hey, let's make the gameplay the best for the consumer and more of the, hey, how can we do as little as possible and still make money?
Well, I think that's really just rampant in everything, in honesty.
It is, 100%.
It's not just games, it's everything. That's why Apple sucks.
Yep.
I'm not going to even qualify that statement. I'm just going to say it because I think it, and therefore it's true. That's what the internet tells me anyways. But yeah, I don't know.
You've
bothers
heard it right
me.
here. So.
It's what's with this hill? Every time we go up this hill, we're just look at me trundling along like a little fat boy.
Can you put your speed on?
Speed.
There's speed.
Can you take some speed? I don't need crack and I don't need speed because everything's better with a bag of weed.
You're gonna really make it like.
Make what? People can make whatever assumptions they want. They'll still be wrong. Oh, we got some kind of a Shinto shrine. This is Japanese ground, right? It's probably Shinto. I know nothing of
you nearly
Japanese
said
religions.
Japanese.
I did nothing of the sort.
You almost were there.
That was a Freudian hear. Not a Freudian slip, a Freudian that was a Freudian eavesdrop.
What?
Why am I so far behind? Am I just a fat boy? I'm just a fat boy from a fat family. I have no clue.
I'm a little fat boy.
What?
It's from... Oh, come on.
Why does it sound familiar, too?
Because I'm modifying the John Mulaney quote.
Okay, I wondered if that was where you were pulling that from. You are friends. I don't want to shoot you. I do, however, want to shoot you up in the tower. If you were a sniper, why on earth would you stand directly in front of the giant sunbeam that attracts all attention? Seems like that would... Well, it would attract all attention. It's really hard to identify friend from foe. I'm just...
Oh, I'm shooting friends.
Okay, I got grenaded. I'm in Grenada. Hi, friend. Oh, you're not... Oh, you were there. Okay. We're doing better this time, actually. That dream I had, we did much worse. Whoa, I just shot some friends, but thankfully they're kind of chill about it. I shot that guy a bunch of times, too. He's, like, solid. He's like...
Salad as a rock.
Oh, you are not friend. Oh, it was that one dude who was sitting here. He was the last guy.
Okay, and he's still not dead.
You're going to take the credit for that just because...
He was not dead. What did you want me to do?
He was going to die. I was going to let him go peacefully.
By letting him suffer slowly.
After getting shot 50 times, I was going to let him go peacefully. He learned his lesson. He'd have been all right.
Anyway, yes, we've been
Topics.
talking recently about
You're going to get into this while we're trying to have...
Well, we
might as well give it a shot. Why do they do this? Couldn't we have just shot them? Because all this does is alert them. And then they run and scramble. We could have just shot them all peacefully. Everyone get out your pistol and aim at one guy. It would have been quick and easy. No screams. Only just lots of blood.
Crying. No.
Getting shot from all directions.
Private Miller needed to stay out of the line of
Shooting
fire.
me from all directions. I am still alive somehow. I don't know how, but I am. And I will survive. You keep bringing it up and then not finishing it. That is some terrible form, friend. Oh, well, your friend's got better form than you. I can still shoot because me not dead. Not for much longer if you don't... Oh, okay, hi there. That was really awkward.
That was my biggest qualm, and as we had talked a while ago about not on screen, I don't think, but about digital minimalism and the fact that really in this modern age we're becoming less and less fans of just accepting the new and greatest.
Well, and we of course talked
latest and maybe
Batman,
not so greatest.
We talked in the Batman thing about how the less computers you have in your life. Every time we come across this topic, I mean it a little more, and it's a little less of a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
Because at first it was like, obviously, you still need computers and the phones and things like that. But then I was like, well, maybe you don't need the smartphones. Maybe you could get by. And then I'm like, maybe you didn't even need... Maybe you could just have, like, a desktop like you did back in the 90s, where it was like the whole family shared one.
You're awfully, you're leading me into
and then nowadays
topic that I actually want to
Now I'm like, you know what? Maybe cars should be just completely mechanical and have no computers in them. And then soon I'll be like, maybe we should all just be farmers.
Well, seriously, again, how far do you go with it? And I've actually thought about
farmers.
that.
Wow.
I've thought that same thing.
Thinking about becoming a farmer?
No, I mean, how far do you take it? And I mean, because what's the opposite of slippery slope, where it's like the bottom line, if you kind of get to the bottom of the argument and just...
Oh, isn't it the logical extreme or the logical conclusion?
Yeah, the logical,
the logical conclusion is what I've normally heard it called.
And the bottom line is when it's right there. Throw it back.
Reloading, bad time to do that. Does that something enemy soldiers ever... do the soldiers... Do our guys...
Get it now, Whipple filter!
Do our boys in Afghanistan ever burst into a house and see someone do what I just did, where it's literally like standing in front of them serpentining while attempting to reload their gun? Because I feel like if you actually succeed on that and manage not to get shot, you just get a free kill. Oh boy. See if I can do it again. Oh, my friends already got to him here. This is a whole new area, though.
A whole new area.
Some whole new... enemy combatants for me to kill. Dude! We didn't even do this last time. There's explosives to plant.
Oh, well, there you go.
Well, they take a long time to plant. Surely I could have just put that there. It wouldn't have taken that long. What was I doing?
So, the reason that I say digital minimalism is not because I'm some sort of... And we've said
Luddite?
this. Yeah, we're not trying to sound like Luddites. It's really just the...
We're Luddites.
Yeah. Well, a bit. The notion is, it used to be that it was about ease.
Time-saving devices used to save you time.
It used to be about ease, and now
This was one of my questions to guide the topic slightly, with an actual concrete...
it just happened.
Concrete objective. Could you name for me the last time-saving device that actually saved time, genuinely, without... Why are we moving? How is this happening? The ants are just carrying us away. Crabs are going to take us back to the sea. Oh, it was you, fella. It was you. He was carrying both of us?
On
Wow, this dude's got some grip strength.
he's just yoked.
Okay, I admit I do like it when
They're separate characters.
Yeah, because this doesn't make much sense now. I don't know. Then again, in Halo there were two Master Chiefs.
Name the last device.
Yeah, like what's the last sort of technological wonder that claimed it would make your life easier that succeeded without having any drawbacks? Because to me, I think it's older than most people would think.
Yeah, and there aren't any. Like I was even talking about. So one of my buddies he's a older man that I work with actually in my office building, and he was literally talking about. We briefly talked about digital minimalism, and he said, "Yeah, I prefer standard roll up windows because you don't have to worry about the dumb motors that you spend $300 on." And I'm going. He's got a point. Well, they used to be just like $20 if the little handle ever did go out, and you could just replace it and call it a day.
Yeah.
And so more and more I'm realizing that in the name of ease, we have given up control, which is really tragic.
Ben Franklin there.
Well,
you're not gonna retort.
Well, it's not a retort. I concur. I think the quote obviously. Is
I don't think I would go quite that far back.
Here's the thing.
Whoa, Master Yoda's in the room.
That far back you must go in order to find digital.
When 900 years back you go, life is good. It will be.
Well, we talked even in joking about the
Becoming Amish.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason
I think
why.
that's too far.
No, that's too strong.
No, that's too far. What kind of a craft is this? This is quite a thing. Is this the?
It's the
this
equivalent
the drive
of a
train?
water tank.
The drive. Okay, we're just gonna stand here right in the middle of the drivetrain. I mean, clearly that's encased, but still seems a bit excessive. You got a pipe wrench.
You got a drivetrain.
I don't have a gun. I'd like a gun. Why am I sitting in the... Oh, and you do have a body. Look at you. So it was just that one cutscene that we didn't have bodies. You look like a young Castro.
Wow.
Private Polanski. That's quite a name.
Look at me.
But what were you... Look at me, Private Polanski?
No, I'm saying look at me real quick.
Look at me. That's not you. Who's you? Where is you? I am looking at you.
They
won't let me look at you.
Then
again, you're not looking at me either. So
we won't look at each other, probably.
Let me out of here, Polanski. Colonoscopy.
Let Premansky go.
Whoa, his head just done got blown. Whoop. Okay.
This
bad things happening. Dying. Choking. Water. Can't breathe that.
This particular intense scene made...
Private Schubert. Gib auf nur deine Tuch. Den Fisch betrugst du nicht.
Which one of us, the fisherman?
Oh, we've got the Colt 1911, the classic. We already talked about that, didn't we? Pretty sure.
Yeah, we did.
It's
and
a beauty.
I don't know that we.
And it's still in use. Well, you don't have to agree because you're just wrong.
I actually watched a great video in satire the other day.
Okay, why am I getting shot a lot?
That was like, okay,
we
didn't
both
even
got
give
shot
me
a lot. This
It's-
might shoot a lot.
Before I even died, it was just like, yeah, he died.
It said you died too.
No, but it was like
press
before.
blank then blank to radio a rocket strike on the Japanese Defense Force. Oh, okay. I got some rockets. I got some hot Japanese former rockets. I'm supposed to call in a strike on their defenses, but I don't see their defenses. Get out of my way, Polanski! Is this a friendly tank or a nasty tank? It looks like a friendly tank. Misa being shot. Misa being shot a lot. I think do we fail the mission if either of us dies?
I guess so.
Well,
this is one of those.
We were in the middle of something.
Yeah, so anyway, maybe you would not want to go that far back. All I'm saying is the argument could be made.
Years back.
The argument could be made
that your nuptials were rather poorly timed.
That in the digital takeover has really always been after ease, but has promised more than it's delivered because for instance,
the
drawback of cell phones immediately was that we were tethered to them. Whereas there used to be quality time spent off phones and actually with the people that you either were working with or you were, you had.
Well, the problem with that though is that you can't strictly blame the phones for that because that if you had the right amount of self-control, it wouldn't be a problem. So really, the problem is that we let our tech become a problem for us. Because the technology isn't the problem in and of itself. I think it's more just that it's...
Okay, so what does digital minimalism mean to you? Does it mean cutting it out altogether?
Well, in a way, it's sort of like saying, I know I have a problem with booze, so I don't keep it in the house. It's like it's more about self-awareness than the technology itself being bad.
Well, and there you go.
Because it's like if you...
The bottom line is
everything
is a neutral.
Not everyone has self-awareness.
Well, and that's their problem.
So some people would be like, "Oh, I don't think it's a problem," and that's where you go, "Yeah, well, most boozers don't either." Like, just because you haven't been aware that you spend so much time on the thing, doesn't mean that you don't, and just because you don't think that's a problem doesn't mean it isn't.
Right. And
if you've got the self-control to be like, "No, I don't have a whole lot on it, and I only use it when I need it," but when I'm around, when I'm at work or with family, then I'm present and I don't need it. Okay, I don't know what they expect us to do.
Yeah, this one's a little weird.
Clearly we're doing the wrong strategy.
I remember this one being really weird where we had to figure out where on the map the actual drop for the rockets.
Well, yeah, because they keep telling us to do that, so presumably they want us to do that before...
I think if I recall right, you had to zoom out somehow to get the...
How does? Oops, I called a strike somewhere. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just tossing heavy ordnance. Oh, well, I called in a strike. Who knows if it helped? Oh, my blind strike helped. Look at me being great at stuff. Rocket strikes can now be used on enemy positions at will. Well, that's cool. I'm glad I have a direct line to the entirety of the U.S. Air Force. Yes, phones. It's not the phone's fault technically.
Right, exactly. So
the problem is,
the reason I'm making the switch is
it's too easy to be abused.
But see, that's not the reason I'm making the switch, though. So I'm making the switch to digital minimalism, but it's not because.
To it, then.
Oh yeah,
Commit
but it's not.
To it.
It's not because I feel like I have a problem with it.
You don't want to develop a problem with it.
Well, there's that. There's also the notion that
I think I got that guy.
I'm getting really sick and tired of.
The
products.
anti-consumerism is really what gets me.
That's exactly.
I don't think I have a problem with it. It's just that I really hate the way that these companies think that they just do this.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, we've railed against Apple repeatedly.
Well,
I've done it in this episode for no reason.
We've railed against Apple being Apple consumers, and we can officially say we're no longer.
Well, I can't officially say that because I am for the time being. Although I do have hopes to change that sometime soon.
How do I get out of this?
I don't know where you are, so I can't tell you. Okay. Hiding. They're behind me. How did they get behind me? I don't know how they did that. Ooh. You got something with a scope. I like things that have scopes. Oh, boy. Nope. No death shots for you today, son.
So, I mean, that's really been my biggest problem.
Because honestly is the crux of my point.
Right, and
I just go, you know what?
It's taking back your control over your own life and principles. Like, I mean, if I want to,
I'm coming. Hang on, don't die.
This is an argument that can be made for PC, and understand, I am a major proponent of Mac hardware. I love Mac hardware.
Yes.
But the reason is because
they're built better.
But
don't. I just capped that fella in the noodle.
But the trade-off.
Not the head. I mean by that.
The trade-off is not.
I realized that euphemism could go both ways.
The trade-off. I'm sorry,
Mr. Noodle.
You did it.
No. That's dreadful.
The trade-off isn't worth it. I'm tired of the phone, basically. So, I just had an update that happened on my phone. It literally went...
And no, my phone doesn't work.
Yeah, it's literally like, hey, yeah, you, not only is this update going to happen with or without your consent, but on top of that, it's going to delete apps that I have not given you permission to delete.
Well, and this is what my phone started recently doing, is it has this so helpful concerned feature, because it really cares about my health, you know. And so it tells me when I have my phone plugged into my car, because that's the only time I listen to my phone using headphones other than via Bluetooth. So the only time it knows it's connected to headphones is via the aux cord. Because it doesn't do this when I'm on my Bluetooth headphones. And it has this just wonderful concern for me where it says, hey, we noticed that when you have the aux cord in, you have the volume turned all the way up. Because that's how you do it when you're in a car. Because I want to be mixing the audio from the car stereo, not from the phone. So I crank it all the way up. And it goes, oh, you surely don't mean to do that. You'll damage your ears. We're going to turn this down occasionally for no reason. And we're not going to let you change this feature. Like, I get the notification saying, hey, we're going to turn down your volume for, like, you know, whatever safety, blah, blah, blah. You can't opt out of this. It says that in the general settings page. And I'm like, then this isn't general settings. This is what we call dictation.
Yes.
You're telling me how my phone's going to operate against my will.
And to be honest with you,
Get out of here.
It cannot be said that the...
It cannot be said. It may be able to be said. Wow, this dude's pursuing me. He really He was going to do a charge, and then I started to back away, and he realized it wasn't going to work, but he's like, well, I'm committed to it now. I've already got the gun over my head in the samurai position. If I have to change it now, I'll just look like a fool.
Microsoft's just as guilty, and here's the reason that I say this. There's a caveat to this statement, but Microsoft is just as guilty because I just went through an update, and it literally deleted CCleaner and some other things that are... And changed its default browser back to the Edge, which is crap. And I'm like, that's nonsense. I should, as the consumer, be able to dictate to you.
So apparently what
we
need to do is start getting into Linux.
Well, not only that, which is actually a fair...
Not only that, it gets even better.
That's a fair argument. I mean...
Well, yeah, I mean, I hear that from everybody. The problem is Linux has very little compatibility with most stuff these days.
Or you can just get decent at being a developer and coder.
But see, you say that as if it's like, yeah, you just, you know... Get good at it.
No, I'm just saying, in our world today...
Yes, you can learn it, but it doesn't make it easy. It's like saying, yeah, you could just learn to fix your own car. It's like, well, yeah, you can, but it's not just, oh, yeah, I studied up over the weekend.
Rewind back to the inline six. The reason that the reason that shade tree mechanics existed is because you could do a shade tree job. You could get under there...
unless you knew.
Oh, sure, but I'm just saying you didn't have to deal with gads of plastic and crap like that.
I mean, if we're talking about the computer stuff, that's the other. I mean, that's something else. But even
not just computers. I'm saying again, they don't expect you or want you to work on stuff.
Yeah, but even on the mechanical level, if you don't know anything about cars, you're not just going to be like, yeah, I've got my engine's making a noise. I'll just take a look. That you would have to know what you're doing before you did that. So it's not like saying, yeah, I'll just learn to code. It'll be a weekend. I'll study up.
I'm not suggesting it's easy. What I'm suggesting
I remember this. I got the shoddy.
What I'm suggesting
Shoddy's going to wreck some faces, and it's great. I don't know that song well enough to sing it.
What I'm suggesting is it is wise to learn. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yes, especially the way society's going, you may need to.
That's all I'm saying. So
you also probably want to learn Chinese, too.
Wow.
Since we're giving our grim predictions of the future. Hey, buddy! Alright, I love the shotgun. I forgot that I loved it, but I do. Oh, it's Polanski. He's still alive. So, I'm not sure I'll go quite to that depth. I don't think you're necessarily wrong. I don't know, perhaps you're oversimplifying.
Well, I'm not... See, it's not that I'm oversimplifying. You're acting like I'm saying it's easy to just go, you need to be a developer. All I'm saying is you should have at least some knowledge of being able to go, no, I'm going to force you not to do a particular,
Well, you should definitely learn how to use computers, because there's a lot of things that you can do. There are still plenty of settings that are within your control.
Yes, but less and less is all I'm saying.
Yeah, but I agree that if you're going to have computers in your life, you need to know how to be the master of them, not the other way around. That doesn't strictly require coding. Sometimes it just requires... That's the kind of thing you probably could figure out in, if you just spent a weekend going, all right, I'm going to actually read the manual or some of the other, how-tos and figure out how to make this thing not be in control of me.
Right.
Okay.
Well, and that's all I'm saying.
But that's not the same as learning to code.
No, but it's primarily just saying I get sick and tired of
you. I'm gonna die. You're gonna have to turn right back around and heal me. I don't want to lose my shotgun.
We gotta take out the dumb.
Gotta take out the dumb.
The full autos up there.
I'm not sure what you're doing putting that down. The game ain't over. Oh, yeah, that would certainly help. I didn't see that. Or, you know what? No, you know what? I'm going to take a lesson from that other guy from the other game. You'll see why in a second.
That was a crack shot, if I've ever seen it.
Oh, well, okay, so was the thing he just laid on me.
Apparently mine, too. So...
I don't know.
The reason I'm shifting, yes, is because of independence. I really get sick and tired
We're gonna get called a bunch of American nutters for this.
I really get sick and tired.
I don't mind being an American nutter. I'll be an American nutter if the alternative is what's going on around this.
Yeah. If the alternative is you just follow whatever somebody else is saying to you without question, I'd much rather question.
Oh yeah.
I
mentioned that I like V for Vendetta a lot?
So anyway, I don't know that there's much more to be said about that. I was talking about the idea.
There's more of the fine detail. Well, you never did answer my question, which was, what is the last quote-unquote time saver device that actually did what it said it was going to do without any of the added fuss? Because I think it's older than most people would guess, but I don't think it's Benjamin Franklin old.
I said cars. I wasn't talking Benjamin. Do you think Benjamin Franklin was rolling up a window in his car?
Okay, so you're talking. Well, all you mentioned was the automatic window,
Yes, in a car.
Except for that, you said you didn't like automatic windows. You like the cranks.
Yes, but that's hardly Benjamin Franklin era.
Well, so you're saying. Before then, Windows didn't roll down at all. So that's not a time-saving device. That was just an actual bit of functionality.
No, before
car windows, you're talking about manual hand cranks.
And I'm saying that
so
is superior to the...
Yes, but I'm talking about a time-saving device. Whereas before those, Windows just didn't roll down. It wasn't saving time. It was just... You couldn't do it.
No, I'm talking about effort-saving devices, being that it all got
effort
changed.
Effort and time aren't necessarily the same.
Yeah, but I'm saying it got changed to the.
But I'm asking for a specific device. I'm saying what was.
So you clearly have one in mind.
Well, yes, because this obviously I thought of this question, therefore I had time to think of an answer.
I don't know that I.
Again, I don't just want to go presenting questions and answers simultaneously.
I don't know that I have
nothing springs to mind?
Springs to mind as like this has no drawbacks. That's my problem.
Well, I'm not saying it has no drawbacks, but I'm saying I'm saying something a time-saving device that was genuinely time-saving and not. Oh, you got to pay me back. And not because the whole point is phones claim to save you time, but what do they save you? They don't explain to me what phones are saving you time on. Maps exclusively is about the only thing.
It used to be that you had to go to payphones to get.
Well, okay, but cell phones have existed that you didn't waste your time on. Like, the old flip phones people weren't getting addicted to being on flip phones.
Well, yeah.
So I'm saying clearly the phone itself wasn't the problem.
So what do you feel like the problem was?
Well, because again, it's the fact that it's too easy because of the fact that it basically gave you everything you could ever need at once, and then was like, now... here's basically the entirety of anything you could hope to do. Try to not, use this too much. Because that's exactly what it was. They gave you everything and then expected you to deal with it. And the problem is that it expects far too much of the human nature.
The interesting nature of this topic is that the generation that has grown up with it just innately, rather than our generations, which have grown up with it becoming something, are actually moving further away from using it perpetually.
See, I've heard that, but I don't know that that's universal. I think that that's a segment of the generation, and there's always been segments of generations that don't do what everyone else is doing.
But I don't know that I feel that this is like strictly to buck the system at all. I mean,
well, no, I'm not saying just that. I'm saying I don't know that it's a large enough proportion to be like, oh, it's changing on a societal level. I don't know that I go that far. Are there people in here? Get out of here. I don't want to be... No, I will not be death-shotted. Well, since you apparently won't give me the answer, I will give you the answer.
I've given you multiple answers, but you're...
No, you've given answers to different questions.
Like what?
Because you keep being like, well, phones and things, and automatic windows. I was like, well, okay, these aren't... You're suggesting things that were better than what we have. That's not the same as...
Yeah, but were they though? My examples may be extreme. You may disagree with them, but
I'm saying because the kind of thing I'm thinking of is like, the washing machine or the dishwasher. It's like back in the days when.
Yeah, but see, that had benefit.
No, of course, but I'm not okay. I think you're getting hung up. I'm thinking specifically time, not benefit. It's not like what was the last invention that didn't have drawbacks, because every invention did. I'm saying specifically the things that their primary benefit was. This saves you time. Because the problem is, most things that claim that nowadays don't. Computers do not save you time. Computers are the single greatest way of wasting time. Because back in the day, the only people who needed computers...
They don't save you time, because there are things...
No, what is it? What would they save you time on? I'm not saying they don't universally, but more time is wasted on computers than is probably saved by them these days. Because back in the day, the only things a computer did was like calculations, like spreadsheets, or word processing. Both things that would have required either hand calculations in the one case or a typewriter. And yes, those are both very inefficient ways of going about those various tasks. Now, obviously, with the internet option, then that saves you what you used to have to do when you had a question, which was to go to the library. That saves you a good deal of time.
That's what I'm saying.
But my point is, those aren't the things people use computers for nowadays. Computers have become almost exclusively social media machines.
Okay, so it's social media you're really after.
Yeah, not exclusively, but I do think to a large degree.
Well, I mean, it sounds like almost 80% of your
probably 80 is a reasonable amount. I mean, the other thing I would say is there's a certain degree of gaming, but I don't want to call gaming a waste of time, not just because I'm a fan of doing it, but I think...
It has a different community.
It's become more of a, I think it's partially, again, the online connectivity where it's like, it replaces genuine social interaction.
Which is not always and it gets back to our co-op comment. Why is it the LAN parties physically aren't a thing anymore?
And I don't want to say that you can't recreate that via online, but it becomes more of a stasis than a deliberate. Because back when it was hard to get a bunch of guys together, you could kind of appreciate it, whereas nowadays it's like, yeah, I'll be on later today, so I'm not even going to talk to you while I'm at school. Because I knew kids that did that.
Yeah.
It's like you wouldn't even talk to your friends while you were at school because it's like, yeah, I'll see you online later today.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. It just becomes a de facto replacement that isn't as high.
Well, it's an excuse for people not to engage on a tangible
died?
level.
I didn't see where you were when you
got
died.
caught with a grenade because
you gotta tell me these things. I would have made my way back to you.
Which path are you taking?
I'm going down this little tunnel because it's the only way I can think of to get over there without getting immediately saw-bladed. But I'm thinking of things back in that time because the thing is, when computers were invented, they were not for everyone. They were for business people who needed to do things like spreadsheets and word processing. And in that case, they did save you time. And to a degree, the internet did that too, where it's going, hey, if you've got stuff you want to find answers to, you don't have to go to the library, you can just look it up. But really, that's not even the internet that did that. That was largely Google and the rise of the search engine and those kinds of things. But, the washing machine was, you have to wash your clothes by hand in a bucket with a washboard. That took hours and was difficult and was sort of an unpleasant task. Now you just stick them in a machine with the soap, and that's it. that saved you time, and there really isn't a drawback to that other than I suppose that it requires electricity and running water. So if you're in a place where you don't have that, then sure, that's the drawback because you can't use it. But that is becoming less and less the case these days. All right, I'm in the building. Don't want to die. Whereas I think things like the phone, yes, they save you time on the minor things where it's like, yes, you can use... I think GPS is really the only thing phones have done that genuinely can't really be replaced. Because yes, there were GPS units before mobile phones were a big deal. But I had friends who had them, and they weren't that reliable back in the day. So that's about the only argument I think can be made on that behalf. Because really, I do think you're not wrong in saying I think social media is largely the culprit behind it, but it's not strictly.
So, okay, I think I've taken my stance on it a little further than yours, and the reason being, I think if you're going to make a stand...
You look in terrible pain.
If you're
that was some of the best acting I've ever
Okay,
seen.
and then I just immediately got blown away by who?
I think it was a grenade because I got hurt by it too. Like, look at your face. That is a
face only a mother could love.
Okay. Excuse me? Private Sprogus? What? What's with all these names?
How about we just get in there and
Buntig? Okay, are we Polish or something? I think we're Polish. Polanski, Buntig, Sprogus. You said
so.
I've
taken the context a little further, and it's because with every stance against something, it's going to require a degree of sacrifice to the things that are convenient.
Yes, I don't know that that's further than I would say. Oh, Barry. Okay, this is a way to wreck house. Is that a friendly tank or an enemy tank? He looks like he's aiming at us, but he's also not firing. Okay. They don't make these indicators terribly bright. Like, I think, oh, that looks like it's far away, and then it still knocks us out.
Yeah. So my point with that is that I don't think it's unfair to state that if you want the benefit of not being tethered to social media, and the benefit would be, I guess the value statement would be, you start to appreciate and interact with people better and more.
Well, you don't use it as a substitute, which
or
it
as
so
a crutch,
often is.
exactly. And so
people think, oh yeah, it's the same as socializing. That's why. But then it's like, well, it's not.
It's not. It's in fact preventing socializing in times.
Well, yeah, most of the time. Yeah.
So yeah, I think
people are gonna. I think we haven't done much to assuage the Luddite accusations.
Well, and I think the bottom line is your approach is probably better in that you want to find equipoise. You want to find that kind of, okay, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You have to,
got him.
Got him. So what's the balance that says?
Well, that I think is entirely personal.
Zen, we're back
problem.
to Zen,
Well, ain't we always?
But
Haman, Private Haman. I don't know where we're supposed to go. It says the objective was completed, but
this is another one of those stupid parts that I remember we had to destroy one thing. Do we have to call another airstrike somewhere?
Well, no, it said the objective was completed. Unless is that like an enemy tank? I don't think it is, or is that the enemy tank?
Oh, yep. Hang on, move.
We had to just destroy the truck? There's nothing in the truck.
There's tanks and stuff too, I think.
Okay, we're awfully close to this. Are you supposed to call airstrikes within 100 feet of you? Seems like you're supposed to give them slightly wider berth. Something about another target? Is that I can't tell which of these tanks is enemy and which is friend.
It's about to be an enemy.
I could, instead of calling an airstrike on a target close to us, I could call an airstrike on a target that is us.
It's something with the airstrike.
I want to get this out of my hands before I accidentally use it.
So I think we do have to find that, and that would put out any question of whether we are true and pure Luddites or whether we're actually after something better, which is, again, the balance of utilizing the tools that you have without them becoming crutches. That's
again, that comes down to self-discipline, which is the fact that you have to recognize
but
that
now
not
the companies are
that.
literally not allowing you to give yourself that self-discipline.
Well, no, no, it's not entirely true. You could absolutely choose not to install certain things on your phone.
And then when it updates next time, it installs them all. I'm just saying.
Well, that day has yet to come.
It's on its way.
Maybe, but it's not here yet where you're going, oh yeah, phone update, and now I've got every social media app I never downloaded before.
See, again, you're back to social media.
Well, because I do think that's the largest contributor to the problem.
And I would say it's further than that, because I find myself not just strictly with social media.
No, that's how we got up here. I thought maybe that was a secret way to go down.
Not just...
What
okay,
is
so
the
what
objective?
you're looking into here...
I am going to... So you called an airstrike on the other tank. I'm going to call an airstrike on this tank.
What am I supposed to be doing?
Because it's the only other tank we have yet to call an airstrike on.
Can I...
Boom! It was the other... You called an airstrike on a friendly target.
I said it was supposed to be one of the things out there, and I made it clear that was not something I was aware of, which it was.
There we go.
So
what do you think it is? I think social media is the largest component of it. You're saying it's not. Because you can't just go, yes, it's human nature. That's the largest component.
No, I think it is any technological advancement that suggests that a consumer, that a person cannot make or is not capable enough to make their own choices. And that be in driving, like with computer electronic control things in a driving context. You know, it used to be that you had to, again, if something was wacky in your car, they expected to a degree, okay, you're going to have to be familiar enough that you know that your engine's running poorly. You don't need some random light that says, hey, you need an oil change, you know?
Well, but I think that's to call that... I think you're trying to make the argument that it's a slippery slope that I don't think is fair.
It's a bit of a slippery slope.
Because I don't think there's anything wrong with an indicator saying, hey, this is going on.
Until the indicator goes out and I can't get my car licensed because I know it's wrong, but they don't.
I would say that's a legal problem. That's more political than it is. The problem is not that car manufacturers do that. The problem is that state governments require it. Which is a whole different problem.
Well, maybe, but all I'm saying is that the argument...
we finished the mission.
The argument can be made that when a company suggests that they know better than the consumer...
But see, that's not what's going on, I don't think, when they show you an indicator. That's just saying...
No, okay, the indicator may be a bad example, but I'm saying, for instance, with me updating my computer, that's a big problem to me. I'm a frustrated consumer going, no, I didn't want... your version of...
Let's probably not start this next mission and let's wrap up because we're at the time, but finish...
I just... if I update and I literally lose the antivirus that I choose because they don't...
that I think is... You got a point there, but I don't think that's... that's not the same as...
switch all my settings around so that they basically get to control and dictate what I'm doing. I'm like, no, that's not... Yeah. I'm going to stop using your... technology because
it's the same thing because that's it's the same thing with the music going, oh, you're gonna hurt your ears when it's not even in my headphones because my dang ears,
right? Exactly.
Now, I don't care if you think it's a problem that I'm listening to my music loud, and so it's only worsened by the fact that that's not even what I'm doing. So all you're doing is making my commute a nuisance.
Well, and I will close my closing argument is this.
Your closing army? Are we the closing army here?
My closing argument is this.
Mulcahy?
We've talked about...
I'll close the army.
Macaulay?
Call it Private McCulkin?
Macaulay Culkin?
I shot him in the head and he survived. Macaulay's in good condition.
Well, have you seen him in Home Alone?
I don't think he didn't survive too many shots to the head.
My final argument is this.
Wow, they're awfully chill with me doing this.
I just recently watched a video that talked about, what are the phrases called? Shoot.
Nade out.
They're
all
there's
too
a particular
smart.
phrase that a psychologist developed that literally was meant to stump computers and and definitively show that humans process the syntax of language when the context of the sentence is variable, and you have to infer.
Yeah, is it
based
the one
on,
about the trophy was too big?
Yeah, and so you go, okay, if that's the truth, as much as we've talked about
anyone
AI
who's worked
coming so far,
anyone who's worked in computers knows the age-old adage is, men are brilliant, fallible, and slow. Machines are accurate, reliable, and stupid.
yes,
Because they can only do what you tell them to do. The difference is that they will do it perfectly whenever you do tell them. Well, why were you calling on the enemy plane?
But with that
ninnies?
comes a bit of the Tron approach, which is the perfect
Tron
system
approach.
is actually is not perfect.
Well, yes. Well, yeah, sure.
And so my point is, when
just
you put
hanging back.
computers,
I did say we weren't going to do this mission, so it
when
was
you
my
put
fault.
computers into cars, and you say, okay, now your car is going to be able to drive to lane correct you when you whatever, and I go, okay, well, I needed to make a split decision lane choice, and
Yeah.
you decided to correct me, and now I'm in a wreck because you're an idiot.
Well,
I'm like,
then
that's
again-
too much technology.
Well, yeah. So
So there you go. That's my final argument. It is a bit of a slippery slope fallacy, but
yeah, a little. But
but-
I don't think you're entirely wrong. The slope is perhaps only a modest incline. And it's only been raining. It's not fully slippery.
but
It's a partially rained on modest incline.
the real apex, I think, of the argument is probably what you are after, which is that social media is a disease that needs to be replaced.
And now we do sound like V for Vendetta. Social media is a disease. This game
Am I
is
ending
whack.
there?
Well, you might as well.